My chronic adventure is a place for honest conversations about illness, life, resilience, and expecting more than just fine. Welcome back to Chronic Adventure. In the first episode, I shared about my diagnosis. Today is about what came next, not clarity, not confidence, resistance, confusion. That is what came after the diagnosis. This episode is about learning how to listen to my body at a time when I honestly really didn't want to. I really needed to prioritize myself and instead ended up doing that for my family. After my diagnosis, my family was terrified. Some of them generally thought I was dying. I kept saying, guys, it's not a death sentence. I've just got to learn to do things differently. But I was comforting them, comforting my husband, trying to not scare my kids, still trying to understand it myself. So I become the comforter, reassuring everyone else, answering their questions, calming their fears. And inside, I'm still terrified myself. In the process, I wasn't prioritizing myself or taking very good care of myself. I did, however, do one of the best things I could have done, and that was go get a very sweet 8-week-old little Yorkie poo puppy named Baloo, and he really did over the years become my saving grace. Why was I not prioritizing myself? I was protecting my girls. I didn't want to scare them, and if I'm being honest, I hated the idea of being seen as less. I didn't want to be seen as less capable, less strong, less me. I was already feeling like less me. I carried a lot of it quietly, and the loneliness of that sometimes was just a lot to handle on my own. It's a lot of time. The kids were at school, my husband at work, and I just had myself. So I was really happy that I had this cute little dog to sit with me because I didn't even know what to say to anyone else. I didn't know how to let friends even come over. My mind was constantly racing. The what ifs were big. What if I can't be as good as a fitness instructor as I've been? What if I have to quit teaching? What if I'm not as good as a mom or a wife? Like it was constantly, I was second guessing normal things. Like if I got a cold, was it my immune system or was it really a cold? If my muscles were sore, did I overdo it in the gym and this is MS muscles reacting or am I just sore? If I forgot what someone said, was it MS brain or is it just regular mom brain? Because mom brain and MS could seem really similar. You get to the stop sign and you're like, I forgot where I was going because you've been doing too much. That's normal, right? MS, mom brain. I then didn't know how to give myself permission to rest. Hated that my body was making me. I was worried constantly if I was on the right medications, if I was doing the right things, if I was missing something important. I was forgetful. And I just was living in this exhausting wait and see. And it was just a lot all the time. I didn't want this to be my new struggle. I didn't want this to be my new life plan. It wasn't a part of it. I was having to rethink my future and I felt like I had this new identity. All I wanted was to be normal again, whatever that meant. I just wanted my body back. Resisting that reality took a lot of energy. As a fitness instructor and personal trainer, I learned some not so healthy clear rules. Push through it, move more, go to the gym more, show consistency. Show everybody that you, even though you got this new diagnosis, you're still the same. You can still teach all the classes. You can still train. You'll still be in the gym 5 days a week. But my body was asking for something different, and it was asking me to slow the hell down. It was telling me to do less, rest more. Rest days weren't optional anymore. They were necessary. I was taking a nap every day by 3 o'clock for 1 hour, 2 hours. And I hated that. I didn't feel like it was making me stronger. I just felt weaker. It was very humbling to slow down after a lifetime of pushing through life in general. I was being told, and my body was telling me to slow down. Now we move on to the grief of it all, the real grief, what we don't often talk about when we have health news. I was mourning my old body, my old brain, the future that I thought I would have. I cried a lot on my own. I didn't want anyone else to see it. I cried on my own to my puppy. I was often in a lot of physical pain. I couldn't trust my brain. It would mix up words, say things backwards. I felt less smart. I couldn't drive long distances. My husband was picking up the extra activities with my girls, and I'm just trying to manage myself and my day-to-day life, and it was hard. Then I went through the acceptance. Not peace, but acceptance. I was learning how to live with it. It meant getting really honest about who I was now. And here's the part that people don't talk about. I almost went too far with the acceptance because I told myself, if I act okay, I am okay. If I keep teaching, I'm okay. But wait, I can do more. I'm going to run MS fundraisers. because I want to help people. I want them to know that you can do it all. So I started running MS fundraisers for years. I wanted to hold it together. I wanted the public to see it. I can fall apart at home, but everyone else is going to see how normal I am. Except that only works for so long. It only works until it doesn't work. You can't fake pain. You can't fake the fatigue look on your face. Real fatigue, like you're walking through cement type of fatigue. You can't rewind tripping downstairs because you can't feel the left side of your body. Eventually, pretending catches up to you, and it caught up to me in a big way. I had to really start listening to my body. Not just listen to the pain and listen to the fatigue and listen to tripping and dizziness. I mean, really listen to what it was telling me. I needed to move forward. I decided to choose happiness. I decided to give myself grace. I decided to give myself time. I decided to rest. I decided I would allow change. You will decide all these things too. When I finally started listening to my body and what it was really telling me, there was a quiet truth. And here's what surprised me the most. When I slowed down, I realized why I had never slowed down in my life before, because I didn't like what was waiting in the still, quiet corners of my mind. There was trauma there. And if I was quiet, I could hear it. Well, I didn't stop moving, and I kept busy constantly. Have you seen me? I'm always busy. 5 different things running at once, 10 different things. So 8 years after my diagnosis, I had just moved and most of my kids were out of the home. And suddenly I had time. I had time and quiet time. And I grieved like I had never grieved before. I cried for like 3 months straight. I cried about the diagnosis of my MS. I cried about the trauma that had happened to me younger. And I cried about the struggles I'd had as a mom, motherhood. I dealt with it all because it all came up. One of the biggest shifts for me came from learning about trauma and the nervous system. There is a book called How to Do the Work by Nicole LaPera. One of the core ideas that really stuck with me was this. Chronic stress keeps the body stuck in survival mode. And I certainly have been doing a great job of survival mode. Over time, that stress doesn't just stay emotional, it shows up physically. That explained so much to me. That resonated in a big way. I didn't need more discipline. I didn't need more workouts. My body had been living in fight or flight for decades. When I finally slowed down, when I stopped overriding and exhausting my body, what I learned how to do was live more and rest and digest instead of constant stress. My body started responding differently. Even the inflammation in my brain began to lessen. Think about how much I love the outdoors. I love paddleboarding. All of that is meant to calm your nervous system. There is no exercise the perfect amount, do the perfect diet, because if your body doesn't feel safe, if you live in constant stress, your body will eventually speak up, no matter how well you eat, how much exercise you're doing. I know from experience. One of the biggest changes came for me when I decided to clearly ask for help, therapy. My husband, my children, who were adults now, I couldn't expect them to guess what I need. When I stopped pretending and started communicating honestly to myself, to my family, to counselors, everything changed. Listening to my body didn't make it smaller. It made it more honest, more sustainable, and eventually more peaceful. I felt good with who I was becoming, and that was the peace. Next time, we're talking about expectations. Thank you for being here. If sounds familiar, I'm really glad you found this space that we will be learning how to expect more than just fine together.